Hello. A few minutes just before recording this message, I watched recorded conference given in 2014 in the TED series, TED series. And it was very interesting. There are very good conferences, and this one inspired me, and I want to put a link just above my message. That's my goal. I hope I will not forget. And if I forget, let me know. Okay. And it was about race in America. Very, very relevant topic. And it was about the difference between being color blind and color brave. And we often hear this expression, we need to be colorblind, to go beyond this concept of race, to live in a post-racial society, which is a very nice concept. Until we start to think about it, it's most often when we're saying that, is that the assumption is everybody will be the same like us, and since the majority are white, it's the assumption that everyone is seen as white. The standard is white, and we expect them to become a little more like us. And what the speakers speak is to become color brave. Said instead of avoiding the debate, instead of trying to pretend it does not exist, let's try to be color brave, like naming the problem, naming the issue, and then go to this uneasy place when we're uncomfortable, but still we live this diversity and we embrace it and we celebrate it. She used this very interesting example of this CEO, I think for ESPN, if my memory is great, being asked, do you want to hire someone, a minority of the best person for a job? And his answer was yes. Seemed puzzling, but yes, that's a reality. One does not mean exclude the other, and you cannot forget this. And the link I'm making with this is about our churches. We work under the assumption that our churches are colorblind. We are all brothers and sisters in Christ. Paul's famous quote, there's no more Greek, Jew, slave, or free. We're all one in Christ. So we believe we're colorblind. And yet in North America, the reality is the most segregated time in North America is Sunday morning. It's true in the States, it's true in Canada, it's true in our congregation here. Yes, there's some diversity. We're not just white. But sometimes we wonder, are we the true mirror of our community, of our neighborhood? Why there's such a thing as black churches, Latino churches, and white churches, if we're all the same, if we're colorblind? Maybe because the reality is that even in Christ, there's still Jews, there's still Greek. That's a reality. And I think our challenge is to face this reality and to embrace this reality. Stop assuming that people will come here in our congregation, your congregation next door, and they have to behave like the majority, aka white people. Grew up in a certain context, in a certain neighborhood, in a certain country. To be color brave, said, okay, you're from India, I'm from Canada, and he's from Nigeria. Let's meet one another. Let's exchange one another. Let's learn from one another. Let's adapt each of us so we can meet each of us. in our worship, in our preaching, in our activities, in our expectation when it comes to church involvement. There's so many ways we can be color brave. And it goes beyond color, but I love the expression, but it goes beyond colors. All those things that we assume that is the normal, the default. In some contexts, it's to be heterosexual. It could be white. It could be a baby boomer. It could be so many things. And when you have someone that does not fit that category, they qualify. We will talk about those young people, but you will hardly hear in church those old people, because sometimes it's the majority. All of this, I guess, it's once again a wake-up call to remind ourselves that the church does not live in a vacuum, does not live in a bubble. We live in the real life. And what happened in church Sunday morning has an impact of what's going on Wednesday evening and vice versa. So we can either pretend that racism does not exist, discrimination does not exist, that division does not exist, or we can do something about it, meaning to address it, embrace it, and all of us change. All of us make a step toward the others, not expecting them to move to us. No, all of us taking a step one another, all of us changing and trying to create something new. I hope it will be a great goal for you this week, this summer, as we learning to be together in a different way, all the challenges that we have to face these days. I hope it will nourish you on your journey on this earth. Have a great week. Take care of yourself. See you soon.